Good morning. Today is Sunday, January 19th, 2025, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. So looking at where Bitcoin went in the last week and looking where it could potentially go in the future. So this is, January's been a good month so far. It's been a year removed since we, approved the Bitcoin ETF on Wall Street. The inauguration is tomorrow, as well as Martin Luther King Day, so the markets will be closed. At this point, we've seen it pumping, right? So Bitcoin went down to a low of about 80. What was that low in January? I think it dumped out of the gates, 89,000, it looks like. And you see it's like really kind of towards the top of the candle at this point. So I think it is going to continue pushing. And obviously with things accelerating here, you're going to see some pretty big candles. So this was a bull run back in 2017. This was a huge bull run for Bitcoin. But you see these candles are much smaller than what happened in 2021. And you see, you have huge candles like this. And I think what's going to happen is you're going to start to dwarf. It's just going to keep on happening. This cycle dwarfed this cycle. And now this cycle is going to dwarf this cycle. And I'm telling you, there's a lot less sell pressure now. A lot less supply on the market. There's less political pressure. Just really, when you look across the board, there's nothing but green lights at this point. That's just the fact. It's a fact of the matter is there's just a ton of green lights. So weekly chart, I said it did drop down at the beginning. That was through December, really. Let me see. And this was the beginning of January. So really, these 2 weeks, it did have a dip down, but you see that dip down usually precedes, a huge move to the upside. So we went all the way down to 89,000. But now, we've reached 106 within the last couple days and maintained about 104. So I said in another forecast, so we had a few key areas that we need to break. And I'll talk about those when I get down to the lower charts. But I'll put the drawings on. And you see, again, we're at a couple key levels, right? So let me extend this line. Extend, yeah. Okay, so this was a sort of area of resistance that I thought we would hit, as well as the 100,000, and then as well as this channel. So again, I leave the drawings on. I don't really add too many drawings as time goes by, and I kind of remove them as necessary. But I still did believe that this channel was going to be necessary. So it's been there since. This channel started in September of 2023. And then you see it ran up, and then you had this huge bull flag that I started talking about in May, and then you had a run up. And I had said multiple times, once you get beyond this bull flag, it's going to run up very quickly because there's nothing stopping it. And it's probably going to pause at 100,000, which is really what happened. It paused at 100,000. This is kind of a shakeout area. And then you'll continue on to the upside. So I think now that things are looking like they're going to get solidified politically with the new administration, and they seem to be about as pro crypto as you can be. So, regardless of this isn't a political endorsement or anything, but regardless of who you're voting for, this is definitely an opportunity to capitalize. Regardless of who's in office, find a way to capitalize on the policies that they implement. And this administration is going to implement a lot of positive crypto policies. So I would just say take advantage where you can. Again, this floor at 92,000 absolutely held. I've held this one here for a while. It's once you have a couple bounces, you can kind of see all right, well, this isn't breaking. And I knew it would be kind of hard for it to sell below here because, again, it couldn't even do it in these areas. So if it spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks trying to break below 92,000, and it couldn't even close below there, and it just couldn't do it. So let's look at the daily chart. Again, kind of talking about that, getting a little bit more granular. So one bounce, an attempt here, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you had one final attempt. You see, it couldn't even do it for anything. This candle was nothing. This day was nonsense. It was like that last sell before before things start to rocket off. So I would say there's some imbalance right here. If I draw this out, and this is the part where technical analysis, it gets a little bit more fun just because there's nothing really to talk about during a range. But when things start to break out, that's when you have an area that you can talk about. So you see this was a kind of a double tap here, and then you now have this kind of zone where this imbalance has pretty much been cleaned up. but it has to get beyond here. So I said, like, once you get beyond that all-time high, it's just going to absolutely rip off to the moon. So we've seen some pretty spectacular things with Bitcoin over the last couple weeks, and really just a broader crypto market. Like I say, Chris talks crypto, not Chris talks Bitcoin, because like there is a broader crypto market, out there that people can take advantage of and are taking advantage of. So we see all the moving averages are pointing up. So 200, 100, and 50 moving average. So it's above there. It may pull back, maybe to 100K one last time before it takes off, but that wouldn't be surprising. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Tuesday just kind of comes out the gate too. But we'll see. We'll see. That's all I can say is like, we'll see. This was a huge run up. So maybe it exhausts itself a little bit and pulls back, but I don't really have too much else to talk about. Like I said, now my boundaries are like, about 100,000. It'll pull back maybe to the moving averages, and then eventually it'll break this area. And once you get above 108, then you just keep on going. Forex Factory, absolutely nothing to talk about really. No news ahead. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day and the inauguration, so the market is closed. But as you can see, there's no news for like the rest of January, really. You have a federal funds rate next Wednesday, so the 29th of the month. So that's that may potentially be a rate cut. We'll see. But at this point, that's not affecting Bitcoin too much. I mean, the direction has already been set. So I'm going to talk a little bit about DeFi this week. So decentralized finance, and I really want to keep this one probably 15 minutes or so. But this is decentralized finance. It shows all the money that's moving on the blockchain. And you hear about blockchain technology, and this is like data that people can access, that can be publicly accessed. This is DeFiLlama.com, and I'm looking at the blockchains right now, and this is like the total value locked on the different chains. So like money that has been staked and all this other type of stuff. So Ethereum is like 65 billion staked, and Solana is 12 billion. Like these are big numbers. Bitcoin is a smaller portion, and the reason is because Bitcoin doesn't do much DeFi or decentralized finance. That's left up more to the other blockchains. So if I look at it, you have things like Bitcoin. This is in terms of total value locked. So Ethereum is the big boy when it comes to decentralized finance. They're the most trusted. Solana is next, and we'll talk a little bit about Solana. Bitcoin is pretty big too at 7 billion, and then you have these are all blockchains. So Tron, Binance Chain, Base, Arbitrum, Sui, Hyperliquid, Avalanche. These are all some of your major blockchains. So for me personally, I'm not really doing too much. I follow Bitcoin to understand the trajectory, but a lot of the big money that is being moved is going to be on Solana and things like Base. Those are going to be the big winners in my opinion. Once I made a video on Hyperliquid. If they ever allow this in America, this thing is gonna explode. So I would pay attention to Hyperliquid as well as Sui. I've heard great things about Sui. I need to do more research on it and see what the ecosystem is looking like. But if I had a top two, Solana and Base, that's where you really need to laser in at. So we'll see. That's just kind of some of them. Maybe see like the growth of Solana. You see these chains grow, like they grow very rapidly, and then they they continue to explode. This is a cycle. So like again, it went up to 10 billion at the peak of last cycle. It's crossed that now. It's at 12 billion. So again, there's much more gas in the tank for Solana, and we're really just getting started. And this is definitely the Bitcoin forecast, so maybe I'll make another video about that. But it's just kind of a look at decentralized finance, because that is where the majority of the gains are made over the bull run. But we'll see. Just taking a look. All right, now the big one that everyone is talking about and has seen is the Trump token, the meme that has exceeded 12 billion in market cap at this point. So this is an article that they did on Forbes, pretty much. So Trump released an official meme. It caught a lot of people off guard, and also like the speed at which it reached the high market cap of 12 billion and whatnot. But yeah, no, he launched it again before the inauguration. I think it's a brilliant move. Like he has really embraced the crypto industry. I will tell you that. And what I would say is I think he has a good understanding of what this technology is, and or at least he has people around him and advisors who are kind of helping him to transition. So it is a good thing to see. You're seeing a lot of governments around the world making big, bold moves with crypto and the adoption. So I think within the next 4 to 5 years, or well, really next 4 to 8, between the next two halvings, you will see that mass adoption cycle to where everyone kind of they gets it. They get it. It clicks all at once for people. But being ahead of the curve, it is something that it takes time. But once it all plays out, it's all good. So definitely a lot of opportunities on the horizon, from what I can tell. I think over the next 4 to 5 years. But especially with this very much so pro-friendly crypto administration. So I think this is an opportunity for people to really take the reins financially, and also to profit in a big way. So I definitely something I want to look at. But let's look at the actual token. This is another tool that I use called Nansen. I don't know why it is doing. Okay, it's verifying something. So this is Nansen. I'm looking specifically at the Trump token. So his little summary. The official Trump meme is inspired by cryptocurrency. It was launched on the Solana blockchain. It's designed to engage supporters of the Trump administration. I actually didn't even get into this one. We see it's at $64 right now. I don't know what let's look at some of the stats on it. It's a $12 billion market cap. 64. So there's still some to be released. So they haven't even released all the tokens yet. So this one's gonna have some legs. I'm telling you. I think this one's gonna have some legs. It just has it's been properly positioned. There's only 1 billion of them. So some tokens have like 100 billion maybe, or 1 trillion. Some less than that. Like Bitcoin has 21 million total supply. So this is where you start to look at tokenomics. It was deployed yesterday. 700,000 holders. Like that's a huge number. That's a huge number for of people holding this one. Again, it's launched on Solana. That's your summary. Look at the price chart. I'm just going to show you how quickly this thing ran up, and this is the power of memes too. At this point, this isn't even a Bitcoin video anymore. I'm just talking about whatever. So, yeah. So you see this. This was what was the hour one? So January 18th at 3 o'clock in the morning. It looks like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And again, I don't know what time zone this is. It might have been a midnight thing. That this chart is on. Let me see what. I can actually tell you a little bit easier. There's a better way to do that. That's saying it is 18. That's 18. All right, so subtract 6 from whatever this time is. So it looks like it released somewhere on the evening of the 17th. So what's 3 o'clock in the morning minus 6 hours? So that's 9 o'clock on the 17th. And you see it just ran to the moon. Like it ran up a little bit. It ran from pretty much 0 to $30 a token. And then it paused for a bit. And then in the next several hours, it went from $30 to $76 per token. So definitely very interesting there. You can see also who bought and sold in the last 24 hours. Someone bought 175 million of this. Listen, 45 million. There's 30 million. So again, some colossal buys that are coming through. And this, I'm telling you, like memes is definitely something that we don't want to overlook, because like this is where a lot of those crazy gains are made. So at this point, I wouldn't tell you to chase this Trump one, because like it's already at $12 billion market cap. So if you wanted to double your returns, you would have to, another 12 billion would have to flow into it. So yeah, I think they're you can still get in, but you're not going to get nearly as many gains. I think it will go pretty far, but there are better opportunities at this point. But this is one, if you want to hold it, that's fine. Distribution. Now this data doesn't mean as much right now because it just came out. But if we look at the distribution on exchanges, so Binance has 2.1 billion of it. It's already trading on the major exchanges. Like it's actually been an incredible launch, like for real. So OKX, Bybit, Gate.io. So these people have like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of this token that they put up. Radium is the Solana wallet, Meteora. So you can get it in all these places. Like this is a list of different exchanges that you can buy it on. Let me see. Top deposits and withdrawals. Let's see if we can do the P&L. Let me show you how much people have made off of this thing already. So this is the P&L leaderboard. Total P&L, we'll do ascending order. That's no. Well, some people did lose too. So Trump whale made $352 million, $64 million, 60 million, 54, 53, 48, and $44 million. Like, okay, so these are all these different wallets. Now, this may not all belong to one person. It may, be a series of different wallets, but you can see what their returns were too. So like that's 106%. That's 106x. So this person got 100x. They got in early. Let's see who got the biggest ROI. Some people got 270x. So these are people who got in like early, and they've only realized like, they have $1 million of unrealized P&L sitting right there. 244x, 194. So imagine you have $100 and you say, all right, well, you see this percentage. So what does that mean? That's 270 essentially. So you just lop off the last two numbers, and then that's your number of X's. So let's say 270 times 100. What is that? That is, you just add 2 zeros, so that's $27,000. That's pretty good, but again, that scales perfectly too. So if you were going to put 10,000, you would just add, is 10,000 times the 270x. That means that what is 10,000? You add 4 zeros, yeah. So you add 4 zeros. So 270 0 0 0. I think that's 2.7 million. If you had like 10,000, I want to say it's 2.7 million, but I could be wrong there. At least it's 270,000, but I think it's 2.7 million. So again, a lot of gains that can be made there. But overall, I think I'll probably end it there. You see the smart money flow of it. So this is going to mean a little bit, but it's not going to mean as much since it's like day 2 of it. But there's been a lot of smart money that has flown into this. So they hold collectively about like 9.2 million of balance. So that's a lot considering that one token now is worth $32 or whatever. I think it might be $60 or something. So hundreds of smart money holders are in this. Again, I'm not saying that you can't get any gains out of this, but I mean, I'm not going to be chasing this one too hard, but it is a proof of concept and a thing to understand, to understand why beams are important, and they're not going away. These things are not going away anytime soon. So like you've seen things like Doge and Shiba Inu and other things, you now have that opportunity to profit off of it. So I mean, we definitely do a lot of that in Pulse on Crypto. It's actually what I would consider a core strategy. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much else for this week. So this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com, and I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.